Okay, good evening everyone. Okay, welcome to EDUP 2132 Teaching Professionalism Debate Session. Today's debate forms part of Task 2 presentation where students are required to critically debate current issues related to the teaching profession with reference to teacher ethics and governance. As highlighted by the Ministry of Education, YB Puan Fadlina Siddiq, teachers should become beacons in society, demonstrating integrity, professionalism, and moral values while upholding the aspirations of the national education philosophy. This debate provides an opportunity for each participant to demonstrate critical thinking, professional communication, ethical reasoning, and evidence based arguments. Please remember that although you are debating in groups, each participant will be assessed individually based on the quality of your analysis, supporting evidence, ethical and legal reasoning, and presentation skills. Now, I will introduce our team. Team A, the affirmative supporting team. Today's motion will be the first speaker, Nur Kamilia, and the second speaker from this team is Nurul Shahira. Team B, the negative opposing today's motion will be first speaker will be Fatin Maisara and the second speaker will be Mariana Clement. Please welcome both teams with a round of applause. All right. So today's motion is this House believes that social media has transformed teacher professionalism. So for the first round, each team members will be given 5 minutes. So from Team A, the affirmative team, may I invite the first speaker from Team A to present the opening argument. The first speaker, Nur Kamilia.
Alright, Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. The motion today is ethical teachers uphold professionalism. Madam Speaker and honorable members of this House, when we are talking about professionalism isn't just another bureaucratic checkbox. It is actually the foundation in which the relationship between teacher and student is built. And the government stand firm, which is ethical teachers do uphold professionalism. We will demonstrate this through two arguments. Firstly, that ethical teachers harness social media as a tool of empowerment and not exploitation. Secondly, is that um, ethical teachers, they do not use corporal punishment. In fact, they reject corporal punishment in favor of methods that preserve their students' dignity. So both arguments, they share a common thread, which is when a teacher is truly ethical, professionalism follows naturally. Okay, let's look at our first argument, which is ethical teachers, they will use social media responsibly. Madam Speaker, the digital classroom is here. The question is whether teacher would should engage with social media. It, it is not about when they engage with social media, they use it with the student, but it is about how they use it with the student. So how to approach this is that as an ethical teacher, they must use it correctly. So in Malaysia, there is the EduFluencer program, which is under Ministry of Education, and um, they collab with the delivery unit, and it actually empowers teachers to be a tech-savvy teachers, and also not only to use social media to educate students, but also to educate other teachers as well. And the selection is very strict. and they are also following legal framework. Of course, firstly, the Public Officers Conduct of Discipline Regulation 1993, whereby in the regulation, teachers are legally bound to not disrepute the government or utilize their official working hours for any school asset for unauthorized personal gain. And there's another act, which is the Communication and Multimedia Act, 1998, which these eduinfluencers, they will strictly adhere, and they have to follow it, which they must make sure that the content that they shared online actually follow the CMA Act. And the ethical teacher here will understand that three non-negotiable, which is content must be documented, and students' confidentiality is sacred, and the student is always the recipient, not merely the vehicle for them to use the social media. Okay, and there's also a research where in 2024, with over 454 respondents, found that when teacher use social media, it can significantly give positive effect on teacher job performance. My second argument is that ethical teachers reject corporal punishment. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child, ratified by Malaysia, is already recognized that every child has the right to protection from physical violence. So professionalism demands that teacher must use a discipline that not about inflicting pain. It is about shaping behavior, building character, and maintaining an environment where every student feels safe enough to grow. So here, I think that the government stand firm on the motion that a professional teacher, ethical teacher upholds professionalism.
Okay.
If I must, yeah. So if I must add, professionalism not only demands restorative approach, a safe approach, but these methods work because it preserves the dignity of the students and make the teacher as a figure of guidance.
Okay. Thank you, Nur Camelia. So can we have the first speaker from Team B? The uh, team first speaker from Team B, Fatin Maisara. Okay, to present the opposing argument.
All right. So good evening, everyone, to Madam Speaker and also members of the House. So today, I stand as the oppositions to the motion that is presented just now, which is ethical teachers uphold professionalism in teaching. Related to the motion, yes, I agree that, and we from the opposition agree that ethical teachers do uphold the professionalism by being ethical. However, there are some teachers who are failed to uphold the ethical standards, and this consequently undermines the professionalism in teaching. We know that teaching is not just merely delivering lesson. It is a profession that builds on ethics, responsibility, and also the public trust. According to the Malaysian Teachers Code of Ethics, we know that teachers are expected to prioritize the students' well-being, welfare, and also maintaining their professional dignity and act as the best role models for the pupils. And from based on the OECD report in 2023, that it emphasized that teachers' professionalism includes the ethical conduct and the continuous professional responsibility. However, there are some challenges that could provide some struggle among the teachers to balance the personal interests and professional obligations. Today, I will discuss these two issues, which bring to my first argument, which is teachers exploiting the students for social media traffic. I agree that in today's digital age, the revolution of TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook has provided a platform for teachers to share their classroom activities and education materials in social media. It can be the best support for learning and communication, but there are ethical concerns that arise when students are featured primarily to gain likes, followers, or online recognition, and even building up the teacher's personal branding. According to the Marine Negri Benassar, Paris and Motel, 2022, the use of social media in education raises the concerns regarding the privacy, consent, and also data protection. Most of the students do not really understand that their images are used online and how long does the content remains available, especially in teachers' own social media. It's not related to the school social media. And the impact that teachers may receive is most of the teachers would be distracted because they are looking for the social media engagement. They are focusing on creating contents rather than focusing on their lesson preparation and provide the best support for the students. And the society also may questioning whether how the educational values are now being replaced by the social media culture, the way the teachers are creating content in social media. Therefore, schools and Ministry of Education should really strengthen the digital ethics guidelines and provide training on the responsible social media use among the teachers. This brings to my second argument, which is the concern on how the ethics of teachers or teachers' demeanor during Teachers' Day celebrations. Yes, this celebration is a celebration that intended to celebrate and appreciate educators' contribution in schools. However, there are also some ethical concerns that are also being viral and speculated each every time this celebration is uploaded in social media. So some of the performance and behaviors that first being demonstrated is inconsistent with the professional image that are expected from a teachers. The issue is not that the teachers should not enjoy the celebration. However, the teachers has also must know that they occupy a position of the public trust. The way their behavior influences the students can shape the public perception of the profession. This could lead to how Malaysia Teachers Code of Ethics again emphasize that teachers should really maintain the conduct that reflect their honor and responsibility. When behaviors during celebration, yes, we might think it's just upon the creativity of the teachers, but if their behaviors, their performance can attract the public criticism, it can undermine the credibility and the dignity of the teaching profession. So these will bring to some students may develop mixed understandings of the professionalism. Hence, in conclusion, I strongly oppose that ethical teachers uphold the professionalism of the motion to be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fatin from Team B. Now let's welcome the speaker from Team A, the second speaker from Team A, Nurul Shahira, to present her opening argument. Please unmute your mic, Shahira.
I'm sorry.
Reset the time.
Okay. Um, Assalamualaikum and very good evening. Assalamualaikum and very good evening to Madam Speakers and also members of the House. As the Minister of Education, I am Nurul Shahira. I rise up today to firmly support the motion of ethical teachers uphold professionalism. Education is not merely a career, it is a sacred public trust. Today, the government will demonstrate how anchoring our educators in strict ethics and shifting our institutional culture directly restores the dignity and also professionalism of teaching service. Moving on to my first point, Madam Speaker. In the digital era, we are navigating the rise of edufluencers, whereby teachers who gain massive followings on platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, while sharing their own innovative pedagogy is commendable, it is a dangerous line being crossed where student privacy is sacrificed at the altar of the views and likes. We can see that the classroom turned into a content studios and also vulnerable minors featured in the videos without informed consent. This is a direct violation of professionalism. However, I would like, as Minister of Education, I would like to emphasize that there is a circulation of Surat Siaran Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia bilangan 9 tahun 2024 atas pelaksanaan surat akuan ibu bapa penjaga untuk kebenaran rakaman gambar, video, audio, murid serta muat naik ke laman media sosial bagi program anjuran institusi pendidikan bawah Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. So here is a very strict. But when to anchor this, there is an Education Act 1996. The law is that Act 550 mandates that the core duty of educator is to provide a safe, conducive, and a standard compliant learning environment. So as a professional teacher, understand that the right to privacy of a child supersedes the personal social media cloud. So for example, consider a teacher who filmed a student struggling with a basic math problem just to create a funny viral video. So under Act 550 and Civil Service Ethic, this is a breach of duty. Conversely, as an ethical teacher, users of social media strictly for macro educational advocacy protecting their student identity. So might be they can blur the student faces and also the school logos. So ethical teachers does not need viral video to validate their worth. They uphold the law and also protect the child. So Madam Speaker, moving on to my second point, restoring the administrative accountability. For too long, professionalism has been falsely with a culture compliance. So teachers has been buried under the mountains of administrative paperwork, filling out with the digital dashboards and also checklists, simply to prove that the teachers are doing their jobs. So this compliant-driven culture breeds burnout to the teachers and also they reduce the professionalism to mere bureaucracy. However, the government is spearheading the paradigm shift, restoring administrative accountability by moving from a compliant-driven culture to a purpose-driven culture. So when we trust teachers as a professionals, we remove the unnecessary red tape. Okay, Madam Speaker, however, this autonomy requires a strong ethical backbone. I am a Minister of Education, so I need strong ethical backbone. As an ethical teacher does not need a supervisor breathing down their neck to do what is right for the children. They are driven by internal professional standards, not external bureaucratic fear. For example, in transitioning away from rigid high-stakes standardized metric towards school-based assessment, and ethical teachers ensure grading is fair, transparent, and genuinely reflective the child progress. They do not inflate the grades to make their school look good on paper, but they assess accurately to help the child grow. So, Madam Speaker, professionalism cannot survive without ethic. We face the glitz of social media fame. I beg to support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nurul Shahira, from the affirmative team. Now let's hear from the second speaker from the negative team B, to present the opposing argument.
Good evening to Madam Moderator and my respected fellow debaters. As Deputy Opposition...
1 minute, 1 minute. The timer is not on.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Okay, whenever you are ready, Marian.
Okay, I'll start again. Good evening, Madam Moderator, and my respected fellow debaters. As Deputy Opposition, I will demonstrate two increasingly common practices in Malaysian schools: teachers posting students' photographs on social media and unrestricted parent-teacher WhatsApp communication, which pose serious threats to teacher professionalism, student welfare, and public trust in education. The government argues that social media allows teachers to showcase best practices and promote Malaysian education. However, the primary duty of a teacher is not to create content, it is to protect students. Uh, the Malaysian Teachers Code of Ethics states that teachers must, and I quote, mengutamakan kebajikan dan keselamatan murid daripada hal-hal lain. So, uh, students' safety supersedes everything else. So this principle places the welfare and safety of students above all other interests, including social media engagement, professional branding, or online popularity. When teachers post students' photographs on social media, several risks arise. Firstly, children cannot provide any form of consent in the same way adults can. Uh, And secondly, students may become vulnerable to cyberbullying, identity exposure, or online exploitation. These concerns are recognized under Malaysia's Child Act 2001, Act 611, which emphasizes the protection of children from harm and exploitation. More importantly, when teachers prioritize content creation over student protection, they risk violating their ethical responsibility to place students' interests first. Students should never become tools for social media engagement. My second point would be parent teacher WhatsApp groups erode professional boundaries. The Teachers Code of Ethics encourages teachers to build positive relationships with parents and guardians. It states that, and I quote, mewujudkan hubungan mesra dan kerjasama yang erat antara institusi pendidikan dengan rumah tangga. The opposition fully supports collaboration between schools and families. However, collaboration must not come at the expense of professional boundaries. WhatsApp has removed both physical and temporal boundaries between teachers and parents. Teachers frequently receive messages late at night, during weekends, and during public holidays, and sometimes during medical leave. Many parents expect immediate responses to issues that are not urgent. According to this academic journal titled "The Implications of Digital Communication Between Parents and Teachers from a Teacher's Point of View." So this is a study conducted in the year 2024 by Ku, Osman, and Daud. WhatsApp groups should set rules and restrictions to improve the group's effectiveness and efficiency for parents and teachers. So what was once a professional relationship resembles a 24-hour service mode. So this creates emotional exhaustion, stress, and burnout amongst teachers. In conclusion, the Ministry of Education has long recognized the importance of maintaining professional roles and boundaries between schools and parents. Excessive digital access blurs those boundaries and undermines the professional autonomy of teachers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. Okay, so that's the end of the opening argument session. Let's move on to the next round, round 2, where we will have the rebuttal session or the counter argument session. Okay, so team A may respond to the arguments presented by team B. So we will start with the first speaker from team A, Nur Camelia. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Okay.
Madam Speaker, the opposition just now says that teachers filming students without consent exploits them. And students might not know how long their image is on the social media. Here, we the government say, yes, that is a violation of PDPA, which is the Personal Data Protection Act in 2010, and we condemn it. But misconduct by some teachers does not define the profession. We fix it through training and also through enforcement. The abuse of a thing does not define a thing, and the proposition can point to any cases of misconduct. They can point to cases of teachers humiliate students, but we ask the flaw, do we judge the medical profession by negligent doctors? No. When teachers are trained in digital ethics, they obtain proper documented consent, then the harms that the opposition feel will erase. And the opposition, the same logic apply here. We punish the violation and we train the professional. Mr. Speaker, the opposition also argues that teachers wear excessively during Teachers' Day. I think that this argument is weak because teachers, they have the Surat Pekeliling, Ihtisas Bilangan 7 2001, and this is strengthened by the Surat Makluman Etika Berpakaian KPM. And I think that with this act, they already know how they have to wear. And they also have, when they have event, they already have the theme. Professionalism does not mean that teachers have to look serious all the time, but during a celebration, they can also use this as a point where they can strengthen the teacher and student relationship. Therefore, one special celebration cannot define the teacher's professionalism. And the opposition also suggests about having to use WhatsApp group erode teacher professionalism because it erases boundaries. This actually misunderstands professional communication. The government position is that schools should establish clear communication procedures because they have school leaders, especially the principal. So they have to set the suitable communication hour, the urgent contact procedures. For example, genuine emergencies should be directed to the school administrators first. So like the school leaders have to take role in this. Okay, so an ethical teacher will not ignore parents. They will respond respectfully, professionally, and within reasonable boundaries. At the same time, ethical parents and school leaders must respect that teachers are professional. Therefore, professionalism is not unlimited availability. Professionalism is being responsible, being respectful, and properly manage communication. And we stand with the motion that ethical teachers are professional teachers.
Okay, thank you, Camelia. Those were really very convincing points. Okay, let's hear from Team B. You may respond to Team A's argument. Let's hear from the first speaker.
All right, Madam Speaker and the members of the House, today I would just like to challenge one key witness from the government's argument, which is related to the corporal punishment. From what have been presented by the government side just now, they have not really clearly stated whether the corporal punishment should be completely abolished from the Malaysian schools. The way government side is portraying just now, that their stance is looking forward to the abolishment of the corporal punishment. However, the government side has forgotten one thing, which is like the way that Malaysia already has clear disciplinary guidelines on how to control when, how, and by whom the caning can be carried out. Related to us as the opposition, yes, we might have the unethical teachers who are violating this regulation. However, this is what the weaknesses by the government, because they are not really clearly explain whether we should have the corporal punishment in our school. In terms of the opposition, we are seeing that corporal punishment is required in school environment, because with the act that we have, we can control the disciplinary issues that is going on in the school. For example, like the bullying, the violence, and repeated misconduct. And the way that counseling and restorative approaches are valuable, they may not always be effective for the students who are repeatedly break school rules. However, this corporal punishment by the teachers would at least enhance and control the issues in the school environment. For example, like the recent bullying cases in boarding schools show how the importance of the firm disciplinary structures, where MARA introduced the former military personnel and as the wardens in selected MRSMs to address the bullying and strengthening this discipline. These reports have shown some improvements in the students' behavior and reduction in disciplinary problems. Whereby I would like to say that in government side, we already have the true regulation on who can the students. It's not just merely all the teachers. Usually it will be the school leaders and the teachers from the disciplinary community. So as the opposition, I would like to strongly saying that corporal punishment should not be abolished by the government, but it should be implemented in the right way. Therefore, I firmly, strongly oppose the solution of today's debate, which is ethical teachers uphold the professionalism.
Okay, thank you, Fatin. Thank you for your valuable points on corporal punishment as well as bullying. Okay, can we have the next speaker from Team A to counter the points presented by Team B? A second speaker from Team A.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the leader of opposition paints a bleak picture suggesting that social media and moments of celebration have completely eroded the integrity of teaching force. As Minister of Education, let me dismantle these arguments and show how true professionalism shines through precisely in this context. The opposition claimed that social media popularity as in a mass distraction, turning the teachers into cloud chasers who exploit the student. Okay. Our response is that the opposition is conflating a few bad apples with the entire basket. The government does not condone the exploitation. In fact, our strict enforcement of the Education Act 1996 under the Act 550 and also the ministry guidelines actively penalize and everyone breaching student privacy. Okay, let's look at the broader reality. Ethical teachers are not using social media for entertainment, but they are using it for creative pedagogy. They use bite-sized video to explain complex science experiment, and they use digital platform to reach students who are neurodivergent or struggling. As unethical teachers, they know exactly where the boundaries lies. They do not let editing metric distract them, they use digital literacy to enhance their professional reach. Social media is not their enemy. It is a lack of ethic it is. And our framework ensure ethic come first. Madam Speaker, moving on to the rebuttal point from the head of opposition. So the opposition expresses that deep concerns over teachers showing another side and indulging excessive entertainment during the Teachers' Day, claiming it destroyed their professional image. I'm sorry, Madam Speaker, the opposition's view of professionalism is so outdated. I'm sorry. It's very rigid, frankly, and robotic. They expect the teachers to be emotionless throughout 365 days in a year, showing a human, a joyful side during once a year celebration does not diminish the dignity. It is build the relatability and trust. When students see their teachers participate in sketch, sing a song, or maybe letting hair down, it breaks down the barrier. It fosters a positive school culture, showing that students that authority figures are approach empathic human beings. So, Madam Speaker, the opposition is called the motion stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Nalu Shahira, the second speaker from Team A. That was very expressive insights, and especially that educators are not misusing social media for entertainment per se. Okay, they are actually, especially when it's involving students. So, and also during Teachers' Day. Okay, that was really very insightful. Okay, let's hear from the second speaker from Team B on their rebuttal argument towards the response to Team A's argument. Okay, please welcome.
Okay. Sorry, madam. I think there's like a problem with my camera. I'm
All right.
trying to turn it on.
Okay. Are you ready? The camera is on.
It's on now. Let me. Okay. Um, okay. I'm ready. So I would like to refute the argument on WhatsApp groups. So, Honorable Madam Speaker, the government argues that school management should establish clear communication procedures for WhatsApp groups. The opposition agrees. However, this argument actually supports our case rather than theirs. The issue before us is not whether such procedures should exist. The issue is whether they are consistently implemented in Malaysian schools. If these procedures were already effective, teachers would not be reporting late night messages, weekend disturbances, repeated personal inquiries, and emotional exhaustion caused by WhatsApp communication. Professionalism depends on enforcement, not merely intention. In fact, the government's own solution is an admission that a problem exists. If WhatsApp communication were functioning professionally and ethically, there would be no need for additional procedures, boundaries, or administrative intervention. Also, there are no there are no official circulars concerning the governance of WhatsApp communication. There's only one concerning batasan kuasa PIBG di sekolah, which would be SPIB BIL 5/2001. So that would be the only circular involving parents and teachers, and that is also the parent-teacher uh, uh, until these safeguards are consistently exercised and enforced across schools. WhatsApp groups remain a genuine threat to teacher well-being and professionalism. Government, if these communication procedures are already effective, why are Malaysian teachers still publicly complaining about WhatsApp-related burnout and boundary violations? This is particularly effective because it turns the government's own argument into an admission that the problem remains unresolved. The opposition is discussing what schools are actually doing. If clear communication procedure were truly being exercised, teachers would not be reporting the issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mariana, on highlighting that there is a lack of official circular policy on WhatsApp communication when involving teachers and parents. Okay, so that brings to the end of round 2. Okay, now let's move to our round 3, which is the in which both teams will present the closing statements of today's motion. May I invite Team A, a representative from Team A, to deliver the closing statement summarizing your key arguments. Please welcome. Team A,
Madam Speaker and honorable members of the House, today the opposition team has tried to define professionalism in a very unrealistic way. They suggest that professional teachers should never use social media, should never should always like appear serious and always be and are always seem to be available for parents 24 hours a day. And
I'm sorry. Can you start again? I didn't time.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Madam Speaker, honorable members of the House. So today the opposition has tried to show that professionalism is by teacher not using social media, not involving student in social media, and sacrificing removing joy from school by not wearing according to the theme, or be available to parents 24 hours a day. But that is not professionalism. That is basically impossible. So first, on social media, ethical teacher use it to educate, motivate, and widen access to learning. When consent is obtained, privacy is already protected. And this is consistent with the Standard Guru Malaysia, which expect teachers to demonstrate professional values, follow the regulation, and focus on student development. It was also consistent with the Code Etika Perguruan Malaysia, which requires them to place students' welfare first to protect their dignity. So that is why it is very unrealistic to rely on corporal punishment nowadays in the modern world. Especially isolated misconduct that happen again and again, it does not define the teaching profession. But the answer is clear. There should be an ethical enforcement, the law enforcement itself. And school leaders should actually apply instructional leadership where they have to set a safe environment for the teacher. They have to foster a climate of school where teacher feel safe to communicate with parents. So in our arguments, the answer is the same. Professionalism should not be imposed from outside, but it comes within the teacher understanding the ethics and law of teacher in Malaysia. So for this reason, we proudly support the motion that ethical teachers uphold professionalism.
Okay, thank you, Nur Camelia from Team A. So now, Team B will present their final closing statement. Who is representing Team B?
Yes.
Fatin. Okay.
Right. Madam Speakers and the members of the House. Today, we have seen the way government side and how the opposition side have presented their arguments on table. We have that in related to the opposition side, we have clearly demonstrated how the teachers' professionalism is inseparable from the ethical conduct. So in terms of the government side, yes, they have clearly mentioned about the way they have conducted the guidelines based on Standard Guru Malaysia, even Malaysia Code of Ethics. Yes, we have all the guidelines and enforcement be given to educate and preserve the teachers' ethics. However, through our opposition sides, that there are some issues that we have presented just now related to there are still some teachers who fail to uphold the professionalism because lack of ethics by themselves. When teachers are exploiting the social media, when teachers demeanor during teacher celebration day, and how the parents teachers relationship in WhatsApp group is implemented. I would say that yes, ethical enforcement guidelines have been presented by the government. However, we haven't seen a more clear picture on how this enforcement is being regulated by the government. Because if it is clearly regulated well by the government, the issues that we have presented just now from the opposition side would not be occurred in this education environment. So the key issue is not just related to social media, the celebration itself, but the real issue whether the teachers can continue to place the students' welfare, ethical responsibility, and professional values above their own personal interest and public attention. This is the thing that should be looked out by the government side. Before I conclude, I would like to say that today we, the opposition, strongly oppose that the motion where ethical teachers uphold the teaching professionalism. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fatin, for your concluding statement on opposing the motion. Okay, so we have already completed the debate session. Me, being the moderator as well as the judge for this debate session. Okay, let me just anything, Marina? Is there anything, Marina? Okay. So, as the judge of this session, I would like to thank both the teams for the for an engaging and thought-provoking debate. Okay, overall quality, excellent points were presented. The informations were extremely relevant and well organized. Very clear delivery from both teams. Great job. The arguments were really clear, concise, and very easy to follow. Okay. So while I complete the evaluation, I would like to commend all participants for presenting diverse perspective on important issues concerning teacher professionalism, ethics, and governance. Remember that your assessment focuses on critical analysis of current issues, ability to relate issues to ethics and educational law, use of accurate and evidence-based arguments, as well as effectiveness in presenting and articulating your ideas. All right. So I will do the final evaluation later. As the moderator of the session, okay, so to all the students here, that concludes today's debate session. I would like to thank both teams for your excellent preparation and professionalism throughout the debate. I also extend my sincere appreciation for your participation and to complete your task 3. Okay, congrats to all of you. Let us continue to uphold the values of professionalism, integrity, accountability, and ethical practice as future educators. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Okay, so that's the end of the debate session. Okay. All right. You can continue with the